Have you ever dreamed of starting a side hustle, but then you just get completely overwhelmed about where to even begin? Well, today, we're digging into the blueprint from Chris Kerner, a serial entrepreneur who's launched over 80 businesses. We're going to break down his exact playbook for turning an idea into real income.
All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to cover 5 key areas. First, the absolutely massive opportunity that's out there right now. Second, the one thing that's probably holding you back, and it might not be what you think. Third, the smartest way to actually get started. Fourth, a real business you can launch for just $500. And finally, what the real path to profit actually looks like.
You know, this quote right here is pretty much the core of this entire explainer. Just let that sink in. The idea that you can start a real profitable business is way more accessible than you've ever imagined. Chris Kerner's whole philosophy is built on this. The old barriers to entry, they've basically crumbled. So let's get into why that is.
Okay, first up, let's talk about why this exact moment in time is kind of the perfect storm for launching your own thing on the side.
I mean, the game has just fundamentally changed. Think about it. Even 10 years ago, a business idea usually meant you had to quit your job, raise a ton of money, maybe even move to a big tech hub. But today, as Kerner points out, you can use AI tools to spin up a website or an app with a single prompt. The traditional gatekeepers are pretty much gone.
So, if the tools and the money aren't the problem anymore, what is? Well, let's talk about the single biggest roadblock that's actually stopping you from moving forward.
This is such a powerful insight into our psychology, isn't it? According to Kerner, the real starting line for any business is when you hit this tipping point. It's that moment where your desire for something different, for a change, becomes way more powerful than your fear of what some random person from high school might think about your new venture. And what's so great about this is how it just cuts right to the heart of it. We build up these huge fears in our heads about being judged. But the liberating truth? Most people are completely wrapped up in their own lives. No one is thinking about you. And flipping that switch in your brain, well, that's the key that unlocks everything else.
Okay, so you've got the right mindset. What's the most effective strategy to actually validate an idea and get it off the ground?
Now, this is a massive and totally counterintuitive mindset shift. Most of us, we get an idea, we Google it, and we see a competitor, and our heart just sinks. We give up. Kerner does the exact opposite. He sees a competitor and gets excited. Why? Because it means someone else has already done the hard part. They've already proven that there's a paying market for that exact idea.
And this right here is his tactical approach. It's brilliant. You find a winner, and then you basically reverse engineer their journey. You can use free tools like the Web Archive to see what their first clunky website looked like compared to their slick one now. You can use SimilarWeb to track their traffic growth. The key insight here is that you get to skip all their early mistakes. You start where they are today, not where they were 10 years ago.
So, the whole point of this research is to build what Kerner calls a bias for action muscle. We all have ideas constantly, right? But most of us just let them float away. The more you can shrink that time between the idea and the action, the stronger that muscle gets. And that creates this snowball of learning and momentum.
All right, let's get super concrete here. How does this whole bias for action thing translate into a real business with 0 employees that you could actually start this week with hardly any money?
That's the number. $500. Forget needing thousands. Kerner lays out his favorite business idea for right now, and it starts with just $500.
So here's the model broken down. The opportunity is just massive. Tons of small businesses know they need to be using AI, but they have 0 time or expertise to figure it out. So what do? You learn simple vibe coding, which is really just telling a computer what to build in plain English. Then you target local businesses with some simple Facebook ads. You build them AI solutions for their real-world problems, like an AI voice agent that can take their calls after hours. And for that, you charge a setup fee plus a recurring monthly retainer. It's a total win-win. And finally, let's talk about that big dream of passive income, and maybe reframe it into something that's a lot more realistic and achievable. You know, the internet loves to sell the dream of making money while you sleep, but Kerner is crystal clear on this. Before you get to passive income, you have to earn what he calls sweaty, ugly income. This is the active, hands-on, sometimes not-so-fun work that actually builds the foundation. It's the step everyone tries to skip, but it's where you get your first wins. That first check proves the whole concept and gives you the psychological momentum you need to keep going.
And this, right here, this is the ultimate takeaway from Kerner's whole philosophy. The idea that your passion and a profitable business will just perfectly line up from day one is, well, it's a fantasy. The smarter path?
Fall in love with commerce itself, the game of turning $1 into 2. Follow the profit first. Build your financial freedom, and then you can use that freedom to fund your true passions.
So, after all this, the only thing left is to act. This explainer isn't just about learning, it's a call to action. The question isn't whether or not you have an idea. It's about what small, low-risk test you're going to run this week to start building that bias for action. What's going to be your first step?